Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Today is just going to be a cozy winter day in the life, homemaking, day in the life, reset, however you want to say it. So Sophie and I are getting ready to start with school. Then I need to do some cleaning up. I need to make a grocery plan and meal plan for this next week. So we're at the end of our week. It's pizza night tonight, and so yeah, I got a lot to do today. It's Friday, so let's go ahead and get started. The kitchen is a mess from breakfast. I'm gonna leave that alone right now and start school. Sometimes it's better just to go ahead and get school done so Sophie can be on her way. My new mixer did come in. It's a white one, and I have a pretty bowl that goes with it, but it's in the refrigerator with our pizza dough for tonight. My last video, you saw how we do that, so that's the bowl. So later today, I'll show you with it all together. Getting ready to do school over here. Our neighbors are constructing a pool, so it's been a little noisy lately, but we're gonna remove all the stuff that doesn't belong here and get started with school. All right, we're getting ready to start with school. So today is Friday, and on Friday we do Sophie's Bible stories, and she does some handwriting and drawing and coloring in her journal with the related Bible stories, so we're doing that. We also do science. Right now we're in motion and simple machines. Do you like this unit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. So that's what we're working on today. So we also usually do some reading, and we play one of the reading games on the app with the Good and the Beautiful Level 1, and we started this new math recently. It's Aces Paces. It's very similar to Christian Light, except that it has color, and so it kind of gives more steps. It incrementally builds, where I think for us Christian Light went a little bit too fast, but it's similar to that in that it has little workbooks, and so like this is the score key, this is the student book, and you get like 12 books for the level. So this is level 2. We drop back down a little bit because there seem to be some missing concepts. She's moving through this though very, very quickly, and it does have tests. You just made 100 on 2 different tests, right? So she's been going through these at about a little bit more than a week. So I feel like we're just gonna do this level and then move on to 3 and just keep going at whatever pace she can do. So what do you think about this math?
Like it?
Yeah, you like it better than what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. She has an easier time writing in these books for some reason too. So she's able to do a little bit more writing with her math, so that's always a good thing, because I do have to write a lot of her math, and so because of that she's still struggling with some of the writing of numbers, so I want her to write as much as she can. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Sophie, what do you want to do?
I want to do math.
Want to do math first?
Yes, because I want to do what I know in my life.
Oh, there's only one name. We lift up a shout. We lift up a shout.
While Sophie's working on her math, I am cutting out our vocabulary words to put on our word wall for science, which we'll also be doing today. Sophie had a really good day with math and was able to track the numbers and go from problem to problem, filling out the answers by herself, which she is not always capable of doing that. Sometimes she has vision issues where she mixes up the problems, where she mixes up the columns of the problems. And then sometimes she just has regression where something that she knows how to do on that day, she just can't do it. So it does make homeschooling challenging for both of us really, but it's very, very frustrating for her. But on this day, she had a really great day. So I'm just helping her, and she kind of mixed up a number. She was writing 9s as P's on this day, which is also something that she knows, how to do, but we do have, like I said, a little bit of back and forth with that. So I'm getting our vocabulary ready for when we do science, and getting a lot of words here, so I'm just kind of rearranging them to get them all to fit.
Let the anthem rise up, let the song ring out, let the ground now tremble as we raise a shout. Let the anthem rise. let the song ring out.
So we finished up Bible and math and then moved on to science. We're loving the new Good and the Beautiful science units. We're doing a little experiment here. And then since we had the marbles out, Gary wanted to get involved. So the next thing you know, we're playing marbles with Gary since he was home. So we ended up wrapping up a pretty good school day on this day.
Sing, we lift up a shout, we lift up a shout. Oh, there's only one name. We lift up a shout, lift up a shout. Oh, together we sing.
Friends, we'd love to pray for you. If we can pray for you, let us know in the comments below.
We lift up a shout of praise. We lift up a shout of praise. There's a new day that will come again tomorrow.
Now that I have school done and Sophie is playing, I'm going to go ahead and take some time to straighten up this kitchen. I need to make my meal plan, order some groceries, and kind of get things moving to reset our home for the next week, or really the weekend. I've lately been doing kind of more of a home reset on either Friday or Saturday as we go into the new week. I guess counting Sunday as the beginning of the week, and that's been working pretty well for me. So Friday's kind of like the last day of my meal plan. So that's the kind of thing that I need to get done today. We will be making some homemade butter. Several of y'all have asked me to show that, and it's so delicious. It is really worth doing if you've never done it. To me, it tastes just like Kerrygold butter, maybe even better, but it is a good bit cheaper. So, and it really is very easy to do. So I'll be sharing that as soon as we get the kitchen cleaned up.
If you give up the fight, if only just for a bit, there's a new day to leave behind your troubles. There's a new day, and it will set you free. There's a new day to get you through your struggles. I will always think of you and me.
We still have the broken garbage disposal, and if you're used to having a garbage disposal, it is really tricky to constantly remind yourself not to put anything down the drain. So I've been covering it with one of those cap things to try to remind myself not to put anything down the garbage disposal. Our plumber can't be here until like Valentine's Day, so I think we were having to wait for about 3 weeks to get that fixed. By the time this video goes out, it will still not be fixed.
If you give up the fight, if only just for a bit, there's a new day, it is waiting for us. There's a new day waiting round the bend. There's a new day, and it will restore us. There'll be new ways. This is not the end.
Now that I'm done with the kitchen, I am making my meal plan because I really need to get on the grocery list so that I can order my groceries. I had originally intended to go out and buy groceries, but this day really got away from me. So thank goodness for Instacart on this day. So I have a video that I recently made about how I meal plan, and I will make sure to link that up in the cards and down in the description box below.
Blame yourself under the circumstances. Tomorrow you'll get another chance.
Right here is our meal plan for the week. Mongolian ground beef noodles, salmon, grits and broccoli, soup and sandwiches, air fryer chicken legs with barbecue seasoning, green beans and potatoes, chicken and noodles, pizza night, and sheet pan fajitas. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my grocery order based on this.
Lose yourself under the weight. When all is done, you'll be a winner. You wake up screaming, you know you've been dreaming. Where are all the loving words? Where have all your sweet dreams gone now? Change everything.
Now that I got the groceries handled, I'm gonna get our pizzas ready for tonight. Friday night has become pan pizza night in our family. We have been making these pizzas and really enjoying them. Actually, my last video goes into great detail about how we make them, but you do have to let the dough sit out for like 3 hours before you can bake them. So now that I finished that, I'm getting my mixer bowl clean because it had the dough in it, and then we're gonna go ahead and make some butter. All right, so it seems like I've been doing dishes all day, but now I'm gonna switch gears. I just put my Instacart order in, so that's gonna be here probably in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some butter. I had mentioned that I had been doing this in a previous video, and several of y'all asked me to share that. So I've already got some salted butter made. I'm gonna make some unsalted butter. So I'll show you how I keep the butter. I keep some of the butter on the counter in this butter crock, and so this is homemade butter here, but you can use regular butter as well. And you just put cold water in there and change it every few days, and it keeps it good where you can have soft butter. So if you want to use it for toast or whatever, you've got soft butter ready to go. And then in the fridge, I keep the bulk of it. So this container, this is what I've been using to store the majority of my homemade butter. So this is salted butter, which is what we typically use. And this holds a pound, which is like 4 sticks of butter. So whenever I make butter, it makes about it makes 1 pound or about 4 sticks. So I'll show you that in just a minute. This is how I keep it. You just need something that's airtight. So I keep that. Haven't made any unsalted butter yet, but it's actually easier than making salted butter. But I got these on Amazon. They're just a silicone tray that has a lid with it. And I'm gonna keep the unsalted butter in here because typically when I'm using unsalted butter, I'm using it for baking, and I wanna have like accurate measurements. So you can see that it's got like the tablespoon measurements in here. So we'll just make the butter and press it into the mold, and then we'll keep it in the refrigerator in this container. And then if I need a stick of butter, you can just, since it's silicone, you can just kind of pop it out pretty easily. So that's my plan today. This pack that I got on Amazon came in a 2-pack though. I'm only gonna make 1 pound of butter today. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one up. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is put our whisk attachment on the stand mixer. The only ingredient that we need for unsalted butter is 1 quart of heavy whipping cream. If you want to do salted butter, then you additionally will need a ½ teaspoon of salt, like a sea salt or something like that. So we're just going to pour this whole thing into the bowl. Highly recommend if you have like one of these little splash guards that you set that on there. These don't work that great when you have the ceramic bowls, but we're gonna do the best we can here. And the other thing that I would recommend is that you have a large tea towel, because at the point where the butter is separating from the buttermilk, this can get really messy. So you're gonna wanna just drape the whole thing with a towel, otherwise it's gonna be flying across your kitchen. So we're gonna go ahead and lock it, and then I just have been doing this on a really low speed because it makes a lot less mess. You may have to run it longer, but it still works well. So the butter making process is gonna take about 30 minutes. I am doing a voiceover on this just because it's a little bit noisy, but you're basically gonna leave it on a low speed, like 2 to 4. and try to put that cover on if you can. I would recommend waiting until it's been at least 15 or 20 minutes before you put the tea towel over it. But you're just going to let it go. It's first going to create like whipped cream, and then the whipped cream's going to kind of go back down into the bowl, so it'll rise up and then it'll start going back down, and then you'll start to see the milk fat separating. You'll start to see little clumps of butter being formed, and then at some point the butter's going to all combine around the whisk and you'll be left with buttermilk. That is the point where buttermilk is going to be flying across your kitchen if you don't have it covered and if you don't keep it at a low speed. All right, so our butter is done. Now we need to drain off the buttermilk, just kind of strain the buttermilk, and then we need to wash the butter. So if we don't wash the buttermilk is going to make the butter go bad really quickly, and so we don't want that. We want to wash the butter, we want to rinse the butter with cold water. I'll kind of walk you through that, but that helps preserve the butter so you can use it for at least 3 weeks. Once the butter's done, I've found that the easiest thing to do is to remove it and put it in a different mixing bowl or larger bowl. And so I'm going to get it out of the whisk and put it in a separate bowl, and then I will deal with the buttermilk, go ahead and get that in the refrigerator, and then I'll come back and do the washing of the butter and storing of the butter. All right, here's our current situation. This is the butter that we made. This is our buttermilk, and usually what I will do is strain the buttermilk, put it in a mason jar, get that in the refrigerator, and then I'll rinse the butter with cold water. I'll show you how to do that. I always keep the buttermilk because I find it useful for cooking. We are not buttermilk drinkers, but I have used it to make homemade ranch dressing. I've used it to make homemade pancakes. I actually used this particular buttermilk the very next day to make homemade buttermilk pancakes. And it's also really good for like marinating chicken or something like that if you want to do a breaded or fried chicken. I always end up with exactly 2 cups of buttermilk. Washing the butter or rinsing the butter is really easy. You're just going to take some cold water and fill your bowl, squish the butter together using a spatula like you see I'm doing. So you're trying to get it to all come together in one large piece, but you also want to make sure that you're rinsing the buttermilk off. So we're going to get it all together in like a big ball, and then we're going to pour this water off, rinse it again, and then by the 3rd time the water should be clear. When that water is clear, you're done and you can take your butter out and go ahead and store it. You can see me here at the very end just trying to squish any liquid out of the butter. If you want to make salted butter, instead of storing it at this point, once it's rinsed, you would put the butter back in your mixer and you would just mix in half a teaspoon of salt. All right, the butter is made and put up. Get ready to show you the grocery haul. Instacart came in the middle of butter making, so I haven't put everything up yet. Let me show you the haul. All right, I got some parchment paper, some bread flour. We've been doing a lot of bread in the bread machine. Some bread machine instant yeast, some chicken gravy for our chicken and noodles this week, and some cream of chicken soup. This is really just to replace what we're going to use this week. Some green beans, some hoisin sauce for our Mongolian ground beef noodles, and also some low sodium soy sauce. Got some half and half. This ginger is also for that Mongolian beef. Some more of this cheese that we've really been enjoying. We got some orange juice and some of these tortillas for fajitas, which I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. We got some of these eggs. I usually get the organic and, you know, cage-free, all that kind of stuff, but I've had to reduce my egg cost because we eat so many. So this was a pack of 60 eggs, and I think it was like $13. So that wasn't too bad. Well, for today's, not too bad for today's prices. Terrible for egg prices in general. Got a cucumber, some raspberries, some blackberries, 2 packs of strawberries, a couple small avocados, got some potatoes, a couple things of apple juice, Sophie really likes apple juice. Got some broccoli and some romaine lettuce, some bread, a couple of bags of dumpling noodles, some of this Scrub Daddy Power Paste. I'm hoping this will work on my stovetop because Nothing really seems to work that great. And then a couple of these toilet cleaner things and some of this like water mix. All right, so that's everything we got. And I'm not sure we'll need much more this week because that's kind of, most of this was just for the meals that we're planning and then also our breakfast. And we already had some snacks we bought last week.
Looking for my mother's eyes as I'm staying close to the mirror. A lock of gold, a secret smile, little things I remember. Place a hand upon my heart as her, she was a believer. Sometimes I can feel her arms holding me as forever. Time changes everything, and everything will change in time. Love changes every heart.
That worked really well. That probably worked better than anything I've ever tried. I always have caked on stuff over here, and that actually really came out. It was all right in here, and then I had a little bit over here as well. It's really hard to catch the light right at this time of day, but that stuff came off as well.
The secret smile I will tell you when you get older. I place a hand upon your heart. Every beat is taking me over, and I will hold you in my arms. Pretend we'll stay here forever. Time changes.
Now it's time to get ready for supper. Friday is pizza and movie night for us, so we're going to go ahead and wind down our day and get ready to have some family time as we eat supper and watch a movie. Thanks for being here today, friend. We'll see you next time. Bye.
I fall. There's a legacy between us. We grow, we go, but in the middle, time changes everything, and everything will change in